As we progress through these challenging times, I feel like it's just our job to, as the saying goes, stay the course. Everyone has to always take deep breaths, not get overly anxious, try to remain calm, find something that motivates you, that inspires you. It would be natural and understandable to wallow in a sort of depression or sadness or state of anxiety. But again, by doing so, we reinforce the enemy's wish. And so there's 2 points here that I was thinking of during the past week that helped me tremendously. Number one is that I was giving our wonderful Wednesday night class to the ladies, and one of them asked, how do we cope? So I spoke about the concept of emunah and bitachon, having faith and security in the Almighty. That's a whole separate topic. But then the follow-up question was very interesting. How do you explain it to people who are not yet so familiar with those concepts of faith and bitachon? So I answered them as follows. And this can also apply to all of us, no matter what level we're at. That admittedly it is difficult. If spirituality is like the physical body, just like the physical body needs constant care and work, and to maintain muscle tone, it needs constant exercise and watchfulness. The spiritual world is the exact same. Right? The Almighty created both in concert with each other. So if you're not exercising your spiritual muscles appropriately, it will atrophy and it can get very, very unhealthy. So you're right, for a person who's living a normal life without such an awareness of God or how God works or how Torah, the Jewish value system, teaches us how God works and how we should interact with Him and vice versa, then when disaster like this strikes, it will be very hard to comprehend and to wrap your head around. Sad but true. No way to sugarcoat it. Talking about matters of emunah and bitachon might not be the appropriate response. If they're willing to listen, if people are willing to listen and open up their hearts and minds at this time, then great. But if not, then perhaps I might be talking to someone who's not ready for that kind of conversation. What is the solution then to someone who does want to do something as a response? Forget about a Jew, it's just even a non-Jew, as a human being, as a moral human being. The answer is be busy. My teacher, Rabbi Berkowitz, said, just get yourself busy with something positive, a positive moral value. I had 2 Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door 2 days ago. And I usually am very pleasant and polite when this happens, not too often. But I said to them, guys, I have to be honest with you. I'm very against what you do in general. To missionize Jews is a very hurtful thing. But I said, to really do it now, in the time of such vulnerability to the Jewish people in general, it's hurtful and it's very offensive. You're really taking advantage. And they were shocked. And they said, we don't mean to offend. We believe that you're the chosen nation. And I know that they believe that. A very serious sect of that religion, of the J Witness. And I said, I understand, but you're doing something improper and incorrect in general. And especially now, it's very hurtful and offensive to take such advantage of our nation, who are going through the worst things that we're going through since 80 years. And they were quiet and looked at me and they said, and they put down their iPads that had their King James Bible on it or whatever it was. And they said, what can we do to help and to show that we're not trying to offend? I said, go give money to the state of Israel. Send money to the Jews who need it badly. And they said, we will do that. Thank you. And we're sorry to offend. They tried to talk a little bit more and tried to throw me some verses from Isaiah. I said, no, thank you. I'm really not the right customer for you. You're going to waste your time here. And don't go to any more Jews' homes. So get yourself busy with something. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2. We know that in the times of King David, he split up the Jewish men. Half went to war and half stayed home to service God and to pray and to learn Torah. And we're told that both men, every soldier had his pair with someone who was studying Torah and learning and praying. He paired them off specifically. Every soldier of one ratio of 1 to 1. Not only that, but they were paid equally. The soldier was paid a certain amount, and the scholar or the other man who was sitting and learning and praying for the safety of that soldier was paid just as much. We believe firmly that the spiritual world has incredible consequences on the physical world, and that is what separates us as Jews, certainly what separates us from the enemies who themselves say we are obsessed with death and the Jews are obsessed with living. God willing, we should see an end to suffering. We should see the joy of living, the joy of returning, seeing our captives back home alive and well with their families. Peace in Israel, peace with Am Yisrael. And may I make one final request. Next week we have the beautiful Shabbat Project, the global phenomena, where all Jews, thousands of Jews across the world, from all backgrounds, will unite to try to keep one Shabbat to the best of their abilities. Bring a friend out. We're having a beautiful Friday night dinner. We're having guests, the traveling Hasidim, who bring so much energy and spirit. Bring a friend to the synagogue. Invite a friend over for a Shabbat meal or for dessert. Even people who usually are abstained from such activities, their hearts, everyone's hearts are open so much more now to be together, to be united, to be one. Am Yisrael Chai, Shabbat Shalom.